it or love it, you know we're going to talk about it. And look at the situation we got ourselves in now. Normally, they don't want panic. Everybody's panicking. Normally, they don't want confusion. Everybody's confused and scared. Like, this situation is like, people don't know whether it's drones, UFOs, UAPs, orbs. Everybody is panicking. Everybody has a theory on what's going on. So let's get into it.
Guys, this whole drone thing is actually not aliens. It's much worse. These drones are looking for radioactive material. You heard that right. U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission releases report confirming radioactive material lost in transit. Shipping container arrives damaged and empty in New Jersey. How the heck can they let something like this happen? So what's going on is that in New Jersey, in the air right now, there's radioactive material that people are breathing in, and it's coming to New York. There's already been countless markers of radioactive spikes and activity in New York in our air, and that's pretty crazy. If you haven't watched this man's video, his name is John Ferguson. He explains it perfectly, and he is completely valid. He is a CEO and a manufacturer of unmanned aircraft by drones, and he talks about how this situation was happening because there are warheads that are gone and they can't find it, and this could be what the drones are doing. They're trying to pick up radioactive materials or senses in the air. I don't know the scientific terms. I'm sorry if this doesn't make sense, but this is pretty much what it is. The drones are trying to pick up any radioactivity in the air to see if they could find this thing. And they do it at night because no one can see it and no one will be afraid. But everyone is freaking out to the point where people are making some freaking crazy theories about what this could be. Apparently, it could be, according to this guy, a dirt that they're trying to use. We don't know who they are, to make something happen from a T attack, fill in the blanks. And when that happens, it most likely will happen on New Year's Day or Inauguration Day when President Trump gets sworn in. And this is terrible because we don't want this to happen and we don't want anyone getting hurt. So the only way you can stay safe now, in my opinion, is make sure you wear your masks and have a filter at home. I have filters at my place. If you want to get the one that I have it linked below. And make sure the air you're breathing is clean until we figure out this whole situation. God.
So I get that theory. Interesting theory nonetheless. And it could have some truth. I mean, nobody knows what the situation is right now. But my question is, in response to that would be, okay, well then explain the other areas that are seeing these sightings, these orbs, these drones and different things in other places besides New Jersey. It ain't just New Jersey. I've heard over on the West Coast. I've heard in the South in Florida. I've heard all kind of different areas saying that. So is it all over there looking for these things? And if that's the case, that's a huge screw up. Like how? And then the fact that you're not letting people know if this is true, that they're breathing in or could be potentially breathing in something hazardous. Like this is, it doesn't make it any better.
964 sightings of SUV-sized drones have been recorded across New Jersey, some of which have even been over critical military infrastructure. This heat map shared with us by local police highlights the shocking true scale of the mysterious drone activity across the Garden State. The drones have caused widespread concern across the nation as the government fails to provide any concrete answers.
The drones over New Jersey explained. Let's get into it. So everybody's talking about these drones flying over New Jersey, and nobody knows what they are. But what if I told you we have two separate entities flying over New Jersey from a guy that lives in New Jersey? Let me show you. So we got these drones, and then we have these other things up here, these orbs. Now, what's happening is the drones are us. They're following regulation through the airs with the blinking lights, the blues, the reds, the whites. These are U.S. drones. And what they're doing is they're analyzing the orbs, which are UFOs. This one was caught by a helicopter. You can see it. Keep your eye right here. See it? There it goes. That's the orbs. There you go. There they go. So what's happening is U.S. drones are watching the crazy activity of these UFOs over New Jersey, New York, and Pennsylvania. That's what's going on. The U.S. government doesn't know what the heck these are, so they're sending up these drones saying that we don't know what these drones are, but they're not talking about the real issue, which are these orbs in our skies over New Jersey. I just find it interesting that just a few weeks ago, our own government came out and said aliens are real and they live in our oceans. And now all of a sudden these orbs and these drones are coming and going from our oceans. Guys, I don't know what's going on here, but I can tell you this. Something is coming to a head. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's good. I don't know if it's bad. But something is coming to a head. Stay safe and have a day.
Now, see, that's the part. That was the point I was making in about the previous video. Explain the orbs. Like all of a sudden you have orbs, and a simple explanation. Maybe they can't go into detail. Would go a long ways, bro. But they not paying us no attention right now, man. And it's strange. Like we've had these two hearings. The most recent one, I think, was the November 13th hearing. And now all of this is happening. Either Congress is getting close to something, and that them getting close sparked something like this to happen. But having all of this go down, this is interesting to say the least.
If you don't know what's going on with these drones, I'm Daniel. I went to MIT with a degree in aeronautical dynamics, and I'm currently at the airport on my way to New Jersey to figure out, what they're looking for. But I have a pretty good idea of what they're looking for. If you look at the technology they're using, which is called laser diffusion, it's, you can look it up. It's pretty easy to see what they're searching for over New Jersey and New York, and that is my waist.
Have you guys been following what has been happening with the drones flying across the US and nobody knows where they're coming from? Because it is getting creepy. As I was putting notes together to make this video, I heard a helicopter flying over my house, which doesn't happen that often, and this was not 10 minutes after my husband called me to tell me there were drones seen in California. If you've been on any social media where news is being reported over the last couple of weeks, then you've probably seen at least one video about the mystery drones that have been spotted over New Jersey, New York, and other states. It's now being reported that they have also been seen all the way across the country in California, and nobody knows where they're coming from or what they're doing. So let's break down everything we know at this point. The last month, people living in New Jersey and other eastern states in the US have reported seeing clusters of drone-like objects flying low in the sky at night. But information from authorities has been scarce, and no one seems to know what these drones are doing and who is controlling them. Drone sightings started in New Jersey in mid-November, with people seeing most of the activity in the evening hours, starting after sunset and lasting into the early morning hours. The majority of the sightings have been in the eastern states, including New York, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, Virginia, and Massachusetts, but they've also spread across the country to Florida and now California. In early December, it was reported that the drones seen in New Jersey were as big as the size of cars and bigger. This is significantly bigger than the standard drones for amateur flyers, and they appear to be commercial-grade drones, not recreational, and some are reported as being up to 6 feet in diameter. Also in early December, the Federal Aviation Administration, or the FAA, implemented temporary flight restrictions on drone use over a military base in New Jersey, and the FAA has since launched a new website dedicated to drones and expanded restrictions on drone use over certain airspaces. On December 3rd, the FBI joined several authorities in New Jersey in the investigation into the activity, and they requested help from the public with information about these drones. Secretary of Homeland Security Alejandro Mayorkas has said that officials have deployed extra resources to look into the drone sightings and that they will let the public know if there's any reason for concern. But concern has been mounting with the public as more and more people are seeing drones and there are no answers from federal authorities. There is no knowledge, at least among the public, of who is operating these drones, their origin, or what they are doing. But there have been hundreds of sightings, with one report saying there were at least 400 and another saying there could be thousands. Last week, in a joint statement, the FBI and Department of Homeland Security said they, quote, have no evidence at this time that the reported drone sightings pose a national security or public safety threat or have a foreign nexus.
Would they tell us if it did pose a threat? Okay, all right then. That's all I'm saying. I mean, continue to leave us in the dark. I think we're starting to get used to the dark right now. I feel like Bane at this point. You know what I mean? You merely adopted the darkness. I was born in it. Like, I'm literally feeling like that right now, bro, with how they're leaving us in the dark.
The Pentagon has said that these drones are not owned by the military and that they have no evidence that the drones are coming from a foreign entity or are the work of an adversary. Finally, the U.S. Secret Service has confirmed that it, quote, does not currently have any unmanned aerial systems operating in or around New Jersey or New York. Lawmakers and local officials are looking into what is going on, and they have expressed frustration with the information or lack thereof from federal officials. As more time goes by with more sightings and no answers, the public is starting to worry that something is going on. But like I said, the government either doesn't know what's going on or are not telling us what's going on, and either way, that doesn't seem like a good thing. The fact that most of these drones appear to be commercial grade is even scarier because it's not just somebody messing with a whole country by flying a bunch of drones that are recreational use drones. Officials have said that if you see any of these drones, you should contact your local law enforcement and don't try to shoot it down, because not only can that be dangerous, but it can also be illegal. Hopefully we will have some answers soon, and or these drone sightings will stop, because this is starting to get really freaky. Let me know what you think is going on, because I'm curious what people's theories are. Stay safe.
Another reason I think that we haven't heard anything from them is because they don't know what to say at this point. I think they've lied so much and kept so much from us that they have nowhere to go. It's like they're painted in the corner. And if they come out and speak, they know it's going to be, we're not buying it at this point. Whatever they try to shovel us, it's not going to work. So they're either trying to figure out a way of what to say or just say nothing at all is the point I think they're at.
We have some major breaking news. The Department of Defense, the Department of Homeland Security, the FBI, and more just released a joint statement on the drones that have been seen across the United States. And here's what it says. They just released this statement moments ago, and they write, quote, the FBI has received tips of more than 5,000 reported drone sightings in the last few weeks, with approximately 100 leads generated, and the federal government is supporting state and local officials in investigating these reports. Consistent with each of our unique missions and authorities, we are quickly working to prioritize and follow these leads. Having closely examined the technical data and tips from concerned citizens, we assess that the sightings to date include a combination of lawful commercial drones, hobbyist drones, and law enforcement drones, as well as manned fixed-wing aircraft, helicopters, and stars mistakenly reported as drones. We have not identified any anomalous and do not assess the activity to date to present a national security or public safety risk over the civilian airspace in New Jersey or other states in the Northeast. They concluded by saying, that said, we recognize the concern among many communities, and we continue to support state and local authorities with advanced detection technology and law enforcement. So yeah, with these drones, there's nothing to be concerned about. There's a lot of alarmism on social media, people saying this or that or coming up with conspiracy theories. It's none of that. The FBI, the Department of Defense, and more have clarified. So I think this statement should give some people peace of mind. We have some
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't at all, bro. And people are starting to feel like, or wake up. Main thing is people are starting to wake up. You know, I don't know if this is a social experiment on us to see how we would respond, see what would happen. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like they do that a lot to us. They put us in these situations to see how we will respond and what comes from it. I don't know what's going to come from it next, but it also feels like that a little bit. But if you think a statement from the FBI is going to calm this situation down, you're sadly mistaken.
Them drones that y'all seeing in Miami and Brooklyn and New Jersey or whatever else, those are government drones, and they are here because extraterrestrials are starting to make more of an appearance. Just know though, extraterrestrials have always been here since the Nephilim and since the Watchers. This shit has always been weird and spiritual before physical. But now in this frequency that we in, extraterrestrials are starting to make more of an appearance. I've been seeing them for the past 2 months, 3 months, and they just now putting these drones out. They're putting these drones out to gauge what the fuck is going on in the ethers, what the fuck is actually going on, because it's some real shit going on, y'all, and I've been seeing it. I've been made a video way before the drones even came out. So I'm just here to let y'all know Some of them videos is fucking fake. The ones that's coming from the ocean, coming out of the ocean, that's an actual drone show. The other ones where you can see clear footage is actual government drones that the government have in order to look at these UFOs or these extraterrestrial objects. So with that being said, just be careful of what y'all paying attention to. Be careful of what y'all watching, because it is a lot of like just anticipation with UFOs or extraterrestrials, and that could lead to weaponizing this type of information and using it against the people. So just be aware, y'all. ETs have always been here, but just know that they are starting to make more of an appearance, more than they have been before. And it's going to come with the government doing some strange shit. One love. Them.
Can you comment on the drones that are flying around New Jersey ports?
The government knows what is happening. They know where it came from and where it went. And for some reason, they don't want to comment. Something strange is going on. For some reason, they don't want to tell the people. And they should, because the people are really, I mean, they happen to be over Bedminster.
Will you shoot them down?
They're very close to Bedminster. I think maybe I won't spend the weekend in Bedminster. I've decided to cancel my trip.
Have you received an intelligence briefing on the drones?
I don't want to comment on that.
What new information can you share this morning from state and federal law enforcement?
It's reached a point of almost insanity. You think about a United States senator who has to go out with the local police to look for drones. That's where a United States senator is getting information. We had a briefing from the state police, the colonel in the state police. He was frustrated. He had no idea where these drones are coming from. Not only did I call for a limited state of emergency and the FAA shutting down the airspace for drones, but also having the Department of Defense come in and answer questions. If the Department of Defense doesn't know where the origins are for these so-called drones, then we're in trouble. How can the Department of Defense not provide information to the public? This is a shock to me. You know,
And see, that's another reason why I've kind of dialed back my focus on solely just being what's going on in the sky, because you need to be aware of your peripherals as well. With all of this, they have our attention. They have our attention in the sky right now. So anything on the ground, so much people aren't paying as much attention to. So we gotta still look up and look to the left and to the right to make sure they're not trying to do something in the background or you know what I mean, while we're looking up. It's what we're not seeing to our left and our right that has me nervous as well now. So I'm everywhere with it right now. That type of paranoia, bro. Because it's what we not paying attention to in the background that they could be doing too.
I have a general belief in government, but this is taking me to the end of my belief that government is really being honest. So my guess is there is information, but they're holding it back. And now what you have is panic. Originally some questions, now you have serious concerns. And at the next point, somebody's going to do something stupid. So the Department of Defense has to come clean with the American public.
And what's going on with these?
This morning, 2 men facing charges after police say they flew a drone dangerously close to Logan Airport. Officers able to make the arrest after using advanced unmanned monitoring technology to identify the location, flight history, and operator position. This comes amid growing concerns about a series of unexplained drone sightings in the Northeast in recent weeks. In New York on Friday, Stewart International Airport forced to temporarily close its runways after multiple sightings nearby.
And seems like there's multiple drones all over this airport tonight, man.
The Biden administration insisting it has no evidence to suggest a national security threat or foreign involvement, but promising more resources to help solve the mystery.
Some of those drone sightings are, in fact, drones. Some are manned aircraft that are commonly mistaken for drones.
The Monmouth County Sheriff's Office posting this heat map of reported sightings, calling on the federal government to make D-drone equipment available at the state level. while federal officials reiterate many of these reported sightings are airplanes or legally operated civilian drones. Sometimes distinguishing the difference can be difficult.
The big aircraft or even a smaller aircraft that's manned is not going to be bobbing to the left and to the right and going up and down. It's going to be on a particular trajectory.
We went on patrol with the Clinton Township Police Department.
Once the sun goes down, these drones come out. Once the sun comes up, they're gone. Some calls will be one drone hovering over the house. A few days ago, we got 30 drones.
Within minutes, we spotted lights hovering over a large New Jersey reservoir.
You see how slow these ones are moving? The two that are on a flight radar, and then that one, the plane, is moving quick. These kind of just hover, go really slow.
In the dark, the distance, and with cloudy skies, we couldn't positively identify exactly what the objects were. But Officer Francesca Escudero describes a community on edge.
How would you describe the mood in this town right now with everything that's going on?
From when I've been talking to people, they're frustrated. They just want answers. It's been weeks now, 3-4 weeks, that these drones have been flying around and we have no answers.
Now, the officers we spoke with tell us they've seen them too on many occasions. And when the reports of drones come in, they're often able to triangulate their movements because there are so many calls along the path coming from different people in different parts of the town.
Can you tell us more about what you witnessed last night, Whit?
Yeah, it was interesting. The weather wasn't so great. And again, these objects were at a distance, but you could tell some distinct differences, right? We were watching the planes that would fly from one side of this reservoir to the other in a linear fashion. These objects would go left, they'd go right, they'd go up, they'd go down, and then they would just hover in place for a while. So there were some distinct differences. We just couldn't positively identify what it was.
And aren't officials using some new equipment to be able to differentiate between the two?
Yeah, and the equipment's pretty basic here. They're using flight tracker apps. So if they get a report, they go out and they're actually looking at the planes in the sky. And we were doing that too last night. So you could see the plane, say, oh, that's a Delta flight, American Airlines. And then there are these other objects that we weren't able to determine. So they're using that to provide some comfort to the residents in the area.
All right, Whit, thank you so much.
This morning, 2 men.
Now, the incoming president doesn't know this. The Congress doesn't.
The way I see it.
All right, I've not seen one comprehensive answer about the drones in New Jersey and other parts of the country. So here it is, very quickly. These drones are not a problem. The problem is what they're looking for. They are not U.S. military drones. They are, however, U.S. sanctioned drones. They are drones probably from the Department of Defense or any other specifically like U.S. military ones, which is why they can get by saying it's not U.S. military. So what are they looking for? And why is it in New Jersey first? So there's a concept called plasmoids, which is plasma is the fourth state of matter that exists in our world. And there is a plasmoid generating plasma reactor in New Jersey that there's a belief that that is what it generated, and now we're tracking it and we're doing something with it. And I think the biggest part that people are not talking about is why are some of these drones spraying something? So why would you want to spray something? It's not about the people. It's not about other countries or even out of the universe things. It's about these plasmoids. And so if you see those glowing orbs, that's the plasmoid. If you see a drone next to it, that is a Department of Defense drone. And if you're seeing it spray something, it's probably either trying to neutralize part of it or trying to spray it so it can react somehow so we can study it. So why do we want to know about it? Not only does this help explain a lot of our universe, not only does it help us explain electromagnetic fields and otherwise, but it also could be used as a source of energy and or material for us to advance our technology with. So I hope this helps.
Hey, what's up, America? I know why the drones are flying around finally. So according to the U.S. government, at a port in New Jersey on December 2nd, there was nuclear material that was brought in on a shipping container, and that shipping container was damaged, and the nuclear fuel has been lost. Not necessarily nuclear fuel. It could be anything. It's some nuclear fucking situation. Now, according to Fox News in New York, they talked with the New Jersey mayor, and the New Jersey mayor states that on December 2nd, a container came in that was supposed to have some kind of nuclear material in it. That container was either opened or damaged, and now what they know is it's lost. It's been lost in transit. So apparently the threat came in through a place called Port Newark, and that's where all this crap began. Now, the mayor is stating that the drones are flying in grid-like patterns, meaning they're more than likely looking for something. Even they don't have all the information, but the Pentagon is now stating that they believe it's a nuclear situation. Although they won't disclose what, but what I just told you came from a mayor that was talking on Fox 5 in New York. So that's public information. Go look up Fox 5 New York and look up a story that says New Jersey mayor says there's radioactive material missing. That'll tell you exactly where I saw it.
2024 is rounding out to be one heck of a year because we're really going out with a bang. Like, the way we're closing out this year, man, just makes me pretty nervous as to what 2025 is gonna bring, man. And I thought after 2020, bro, we were gonna be like, you know, get us a little 10-year break after experiencing and going through what we went through in 2020. I was like, you know, let's take this time. You know, we lost a lot of people. Let's take these next several years, man, and get over it. We need to. But 2024 says, yeah, don't. There's no break, no, and hit us right in the mouth. And now we're trying to wait for the swelling to go down.
Some of the folks here in the studio even saying that they saw more drones over the weekend. What's the latest from the sheriff there? What's he saying tonight?
Sure. So he invited us into his nerve center there in the sheriff's office and showed us that heat map. And if you look at it, he's been documenting all the sightings here in Monmouth County. This is really where this all began back in November. So since December 2nd, he's been documenting every possible sighting on this map, and it's just overwhelming when you look at the site, just how many calls have come in. And he's trying to do his best. He's directing everybody to the FBI. He's actually demanding more federal help. He's asked the Governor Murphy here to declare a state of emergency. That has not happened. He's asking Congress to enact some laws around these drones so that, you know, there's GPS tracking available, so we can know like where the operator of these drones are, like we do with planes, like the FAA on these kind of sites that you can track planes on. But he's saying this is a failure from the federal government from the get-go. Take a listen.
If this was a national security concern and a test, we failed miserably, right? When you have kind of a rogue drone flying over Weapons Station Earl and Picatinny Arsenal and some critical infrastructure and closing down airports. I mean, medevac flights have been canceled because of these sightings of drones and drone activity. The airport in New York closed down for...
I didn't even think about that with medevac, man, and trying to get people to different, you know what I mean, either trauma centers or whatever like that. I didn't even think about that, the effect that it's had. You can't fly nothing up there. So that makes it even worse, man.
For a period of time because of drone activity or reported drone activity. When you have that occur, we have a problem with obviously what's going on. And from a public safety standpoint, it's concerning, right? And it's going to be a challenge in the future. We can't have recreational or commercial drones flying over large crowds and audiences, you know, on our beachfront, like with 70,000 people at a concert. That's not going to do it. So we need to change the laws and again, try to put some of this deconfliction and de-droning capability, or at least drone detection capability, in the state police hands.
So there you have it, Brian. This is the guy who's really at the center of this whole thing, and he's walking the walk. He's asking for change and hopeful that the feds are going to give us some help here in New Jersey to help detect these things.
Rich, you're an amazing investigative reporter. You've been working on this for like a week now. You saw drones for yourself. What's your sense? I mean, when we see these sound bites from the White House and they're saying, look, this is literally nothing. These are people making mistakes in what they're seeing. These are planes and stars, etc. Do you think, are they purposely misleading people, or do you think that is what they actually believe? Do they really not know what's going on? Are we all just crazy?
I think this is a complicated. Thank you for saying that, Brian. But I think this is a complicated answer. So I'll take it in parts. I think the government, number one, knows more than they're telling us, and I think that's evidenced by the fact that military bases are saying we're seeing these things, and then John Kirby, the security advisor, is saying we're no credible threats, or that was his initial statement last week. So there's more going on there. They're saying, look, a lot of these are planes. I asked Sean Golden, the sheriff, that, do you think the majority of these calls are planes? And he believes that a healthy majority likely are planes. Just in full transparency, Brian, I kicked the tires on my reporting last week. I asked every possible expert. I asked a former CIA person. I asked a CEO of a drone company to look at our footage, and I asked an aviation expert who's got 43 years as a pilot, both military and commercial pilot. What do you see? What are we seeing? This is crazy. And the CEO of the drone company says, I think these are planes in your footage. And to my surprise, the aviation expert, the pilot of 43 years, says, I think I see drones. So it just goes to show you, nobody knows what we're seeing up in these skies, and that's why the lack of information is so key. And if the government knows what's actually happening, if there is some program, they should come out and tell us, so everybody's not looking up at the sky wondering, is this a drone over my house? Because it's freaking people out. Kids are asking all sorts of questions. We don't have answers, and there's really no end in sight with this, Brian.
Yeah, and look, I mean, with planes, you can go to like FlightAware. You can see the plane where it is in the exact moment. It makes sense that they should do that for drones. At least people could track them, then know what they're looking at, not be totally freaked out, know where the drone came from. It's wild. It's a wild story.